Hello, St. Anne Mariners. Deacon Michael Lamy here. That's where Father Billy sends me when I don't say my prayers. So please pray for me that I can say my prayers so I don't get sent back into that black hole. This is Ask Deacon Michael again. Welcome to all of you. We're going to jump right in because you have a lot of questions, which I love, and I'm trying to get through them all. So we'll start with some of these quick ones just to get them out of the way and because you're curious. So how long have I been a deacon? I was ordained a deacon on May 16th of this year, so only a few months I've been a deacon now. I'll only be a deacon until June 5th of next year when I'll be ordained a priest. So good question. How long does it take to become a priest? So typically it's 6 to 8 years. It'll be 6 years for me. But if you join a religious order like Franciscans, Dominicans, Jesuits, it can be longer. It can be longer than that. So it just kind of depends on what type of priest God is calling you to be. He called me to be a diocesan priest. So that process is typically 6 to 8 years. Like I said, 6 for me. So very good question. Where did I go to school and was I an altar server? I went to school at St. Francis Xavier on Meadow Road for grammar school. I went there from kindergarten to 8th grade, and I was not an altar server. I had 2 older brothers. They were both altar servers, but for whatever reason, I wasn't one growing up, so I had to learn how to serve at the altar in seminary. So very good questions. How did I get used to speaking to the congregation up on the altar? Well, that's practice. So I had a few classes in seminary where we would practice in front of the other seminarians, but really being up there on the altar as a deacon has given me a lot of confidence. So another very good question. Another question, what do I do in my free time? So when I actually have some free time, I like to pray. I use my free time for prayer. I also like to hang out with friends and family. I have a bike, so I'll go ride my bike. I like to exercise, work out at a gym, and I'll also read sometimes. I like fiction stories just to kind of let my mind get caught up in a story and let my imagination kind of go wild. I really enjoy reading and watching movies, things like that. So very good question. So the last 2 questions will take me a little longer to answer, and they are, did you want to be a priest growing up, and at what age were you called to be a priest? So I didn't necessarily want to be a priest growing up, and I think a big part of that was when I was a kid, for whatever reason, I don't remember hearing that, that was something that God could call you to be growing up. I didn't know where priest came from. I didn't know what a seminarian was or anything like that. So that just wasn't something that I thought about growing up. But that being said, that didn't stop God from inviting me to think about the priesthood from a very young age. So when I was younger, we got confirmed in 8th grade. So I was about 12 years old. And at that time, they asked us to think about what we wanted to be when we grew up. And I remember at that time, the thought of priesthood came to mind, and I shared that with a few people. But for whatever reason, I think because I was probably scared of maybe what my friends would think, and I didn't really know what that meant, that these thoughts of priesthood had come to my mind. I didn't know what to do with that. So I kept a lot of it to myself, even though I did share with a few people. And so I really forgot about it all through high school, when I went off to college, when I started to work. And it wasn't until 14 years after God invited me to think about being a priest at that age of 12 or 13 that he reminded me when I was 27 years old, which was 7 years ago. God reminded me that he invited me from a young age to think about being a priest. So just an incredible way that God has worked in my life, how patient he was with me all those years. And so I'm very thankful for that. And why are these flies? Oh, Father Billy, you need to call the exterminator. They're in here again. Yes, the flies, they're in here again. Okay. I hope this video was entertaining and informative. Once again, got you out of class for a little bit. Keep sending your questions. I have more to answer, and I'll do my best to get them answered for you. So God bless you all, and know my prayers for you, Mariners.